Where's Dad?
When they were like jumping the shark. Do you even know what that is?
Jumping the shark, do you mean as a phrase or do you mean they were literally jumping a shark?
So that's where that phrase comes from.
No,
is
Happy Days?
Yeah. Dear God. All right, now I'm the dad again.
Where's Dad?
We're back.
We're back. Who knew?
Where's Dad? We're doing part two. Did you have, when you got in improv, what drove you to that? Did you have any like family stuff doing it? Your mom do anything? No.
We have no. I want to say we have no performers in my family, and that's mostly true. My grandfather, he was a scientist, doctor, and professor. And during his, people always said that his like lectures and stuff, like there were funny bits and like they were engaging and there was fun story and whatever. And my grandma thinks I got some of that from him. But no one on stage. No one on stage in any way. I had done some improv in high school and I liked it. My original high school improv teachers were from BATS, which is our local Bay Area Theater Sports. And then in community college, I also did some improv, also BATS teachers. And then, I started doing improv right after a breakup.
Right. Mm-hmm. But as a kid, were you always like, I think I want to do that. I could do that. Was it acting or?
I was really shy when I was really, really young. I remember having a Spanish presentation in high school and kind of panicking when I was presenting in front of the class. I don't remember if I cried, but I felt like I cried. Right. And I was like, this isn't good. I can't have this. And then I started doing theater classes because I'm like, maybe it'll make me more comfortable.
Wow.
And
how old were you then?
Mid-high school, 15.
That's pretty good. Self-aware to be able to.
Thank you. I was a pretty self-aware youth. Thank you so much. Tell everyone.
Yeah, I think I remember. I was super shy, but I remember we did I was in Cub Scouts. They needed munchkins for a local play.
Of course they did.
And
they were like, let's get the tallest one to be the munchkin.
No, I was tiny. I think I hadn't grown yet.
You were a grower.
Yeah, I was a grower. And they let the whole Cub Scout troop just be in it. We didn't even have to audition or anything.
How fun.
So we were just in it. And so we were in it, and then we would do all these rehearsals and stuff. And then I remember there was one time they were like, we need a mayor of Munchkin Land. And there was this one kid who was super outgoing. And then they had me, and they were like, Phil, we want you to, can you get up and just say these lines? And it was we welcome you to Munchkin Land, whatever. And I was so terrified and shy that I would stand there and I would just like, we welcome you to Munchkin Land. And my sister says that she's like, they clearly wanted to give you that part. You were like clearly cuter than this other kid or whatever. But the other kid was just a loud, obnoxious shithead or whatever. So he was just like, I welcome you to Munchkin Land. And just like really.
He laid it on thick.
Yeah, laid it on thick. And I was just like, I welcome you. And they made me say it like 10 times.
Aww.
Just to be like, can you, a little bit more? Just a little bit more? And I'd be like, And so then they ended up giving it to the other kid.
Ah, man.
Yeah, and so, but we did that play, and I always remember like loving it. I thought it was like so cool, just being on stage. I was like, oh, this feels cool.
Did it hurt you that you weren't the mayor?
Looking back, I was like, fuck, I would have killed it.
Yeah, but in the moment, maybe it didn't like quite register.
Yeah, I was just so terrified.
Yeah,
it wasn't even on stage. It was like in a multi-purpose room at some Parks and Rec place, and I was already terrified just to stand up and talk in front of these people. Yeah.
Cub Scouts really young. That's preteen, right? That's like
it's like
7, 8?
Yeah, 8 to 10, 12.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, but yeah, it was super. But I always remember too, like just being in the theater was kind of cool because it also ended up being in the high school where I went. The theater was at the high school that I went to. Yeah. So I remember being in there because that was like where my sister was going to high school, and I was like, oh, that's cool. She's here. But then I always remember there was one. Definitely, probably not appropriate for kids, but there was one rehearsal. The Tin Man and Dorothy were dating in real life. I think they were maybe engaged or something, and it was just a rehearsal, so they were all kind of like fucking around, and so we're all just sitting in the audience, all the munchkins, waiting for our time, and then the Tin Man did like a strip tease during his dance for Dorothy. I mean, it's definitely stuck in my head all these years. So I remember just sitting there, I was like, this is crazy. Like, what is going on? Like, I was like, this is the theater. This is nuts.
This isn't the story.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember the Dorothy doing that.
He doesn't have a heart.
Yeah, it was funny. But yeah, I totally remember that. That's like one of the things I was like, oh, I would have been the best fucking.
He would have been so good.
Yeah. Was too shy.
That's so funny.
Yep.
That reminds me, I did do like some dance when I was younger. I remember doing I remember seeing it on video more than I remembered in person. And I was in ballet, and it must have been before 5th grade, so maybe 3rd, 4th grade, maybe younger. And there was a point, it's like during our stage performance where I think my person I was dancing with, say her name was Alyssa Margulis, and she froze when she saw the audience. Like we were mid-dance and she looked and then she froze, and the video is me seeing her freeze and just spinning her because we're supposed to do a spin, and I'm like, I don't give a shit that you don't know what I was business.
You're not ruining this for me.
I was like, we gotta get through this, girl.
Just whipping her around the stage. That's funny.
Yeah.
I always remember, I didn't even know like stage fright was the thing. Like I learned it from like Brady Bunch.
Oh, what part of Brady Bunch? I watched a lot of Brady Bunch, just so you know.
Yeah.
We're aligned here.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was a big Nick at Night girl.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was watching it real time. We had
Wow.
no, it was reruns then for me. It was reruns. It wasn't live, I don't think.
Yeah, convince yourself it was reruns.
It wasn't on a main channel, and I think that's the differential. But there was that one, I think it was Jan or Cindy. They were on TV, and like when the red light went on, she just went. Ding,
oh, I remember that. Yeah.
and she like froze.
Uh-huh.
And I remember thinking, I was like, oh, that's a real thing that everybody has. So therefore,
Yes.
just wait for it to happen to you.
And I will get scared as
Yeah,
well. Yeah.
But I always remember that being like a big,
That's so funny.
stage fright.
I feel like the classic Brady Bunch I remember is just like the football to the nose.
Yeah.
And then one of them trying to dye their freckles with lemon juice.
Really?
Yep, that's what I remember.
I always remember the Peter walking around going, "What's for dinner? Pork chops and applesauce." Do you remember that?
Oh.
I don't know. I guess it must have been like a James Cagney thing that they were referencing from like the 50s on this 70s show.
Yeah.
And he was just walking. And so I say that to my kids all the time. Like, you guys want pork chops and applesauce? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, oh man? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what it is, really. I just remember Peter Brady saying it.
My brother and I were visiting my grandmother a few months ago, and I don't know what was something. I don't know if someone was playing an old SNL clip or something was happening where suddenly I heard this thing that my father had always said to us in our childhood. We're like, oh, it's just this weird thing. He says, he's supposed to say like, no Coke, Pepsi, we switch. It was like from a really old sketch, the guys, and there's like other things he said that I'm like, oh, I bet these are all things that I just have never seen and that I say
hamburger,
now.
Hamburger.
Yes.
Yes,
that exact one.
John Belushi. Foreign guys working at the diner. Yeah, no Coke, Pepsi.
Yeah. He also does a lot of, or he used to do a lot of, no respect. A lot of, I don't get no respect. I don't forget who that is. Some other guy. It's a guy.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, that guy.
That's some dude. I don't know.
You know the guys.
Yeah, that's. Do you know who that is at all?
Does he have really big eyes?
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. That's the one guy everyone always tells me, because I started comedy late. They're like, hey, well, Rodney Dangerfield didn't get famous till he was like 50 something, and I was like, cool. It's also not the 50s anymore, so it's a shitload harder to do it.
Listen, it's gonna happen to you once you hit your 50s.
Yeah, once I hit it. Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, I didn't. Did you watch a ton of TV growing up? Yeah.
So much.
So much.
Well, usually at night.
Okay.
I stayed up really late. I don't know why they let me, but I watched so much at night. So like my favorite shows, I loved I Love Lucy. I loved Bewitched. I liked I Dream of Jeannie. For a while, I'd convinced myself that I was a reincarnation of Lucille Ball because I found out she died in the same hospital I was born in the same year.
Whoa.
So I was like, maybe she's just floating around from April to November and then hopped in me in November.
Makes sense.
I used to walk into the house and I'd go, Lucy, I'm home. All the time.
That's how we should start this every episode. That's hilarious. Yeah, I watched that one a lot. I didn't watch Bewitched, Bewitched that much. It
Yeah.
was on, but I wasn't as interested. Dream of Jeannie. I think it's just because I was like, maybe I'll get to see boobs. I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else. I watched Leave It to Beaver.
Oh yeah. Did I
And-
tell you? Maybe I didn't tell you. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she started watching roasts, and she
Like comedy roast?
yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I saw this roast of Leave It to Beaver." I was like, She's like, and they were being so terrible to him, and he was so young. He's so young, and I'm like, do you mean Justin Bieber? I was just like, yes. I'm like, you kept saying Leave It to Beaver. She's like, Leave It to Beaver was from so long ago. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why I'm so confused.
I was trying to figure it out too. I was like, so young. I was like, Jerry Mathers is like 100. I don't know how old. That's hilarious. Oh, man.
Yeah. In her defense, I think they had made some Leave It to Beaver joke there. Maybe that's what stuck for
Maybe,
her. I don't
yeah.
know. But yeah, you were Leave It to Beaver boy.
Yeah, I mean, it was just on. So
Yeah.
it was always what was on.
Mm-hmm.
I also grew up just as cable was invented. So,
Is that real? Because I can't tell.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we didn't have it for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I think we started getting it when I was like 6 or 8.
This is going to sound really stupid.
Yeah.
What did you watch before cable? What was before cable? How did TVs work before then?
I'm really young and youthful. And
Is it antennas?
you had antennas, and you would have like the 3 main channels: ABC, CBS, NBC.
Uh-huh.
Fox didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd have these like alternate outer lying channels like Channel 44 and Channel 20, which were like kind of local broadcasts. I
Okay.
think that's where I saw a lot of like the Brady Bunch and Leave It to Beaver and all that stuff.
Okay.
So you'd kind of watch those main channels, and then that was it.
And cable gave you so many more channels.
Yes, cable gave you so many more. We would have like, I think I got it when I was, again, maybe 6 to 8-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But the first one, dear God, it didn't come with a remote.
Uh-huh.
It was a literal cable that came out of the TV, and then you had like a little, kind of like what now would be like a mini keyboard, but it was probably this thick
Uh-huh.
with like 60 punch buttons.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
you would, like, click, click, and it would change. Click, click, change. Click, click, change.
I love that. That's so charming.
Yeah, and you had to like, if you wanted this row, you'd have to move there's like 3-level thing. You're like, oh, I want the middle buttons. Okay, move it down one, and then you'd click those.
I want to look this up. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's old and gross now, but yeah, we'd have that, and then but then you'd have everything. But then also wasn't like cable is now, where it's like they had actual cool shows.
Yeah.
They would just be playing all these old random shows. It was a lot of like Western movies and
Okay.
crap nobody cared about.
Yeah.
Although when I was maybe 9 or 10, that's when it started getting good. Because then you can get like, my mom would just, we would get cable TV, and then she would just get, like duped to get the whole thing. They were just the full package.
Yeah.
And so we'd get it. And then I remember one time we were flying to my dad's house in Connecticut. We were leaving like 5 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just downstairs with my mom and my sister. And I was like, I can't wait till 5 o'clock. And my sister would be like, shut up. You're going to make mom sad. Because she thought I was saying because I wanted to go see my dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because at 5 o'clock, the naked lady jumps out of the pool. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, at 5 o'clock, the naked lady jumps off the rock into the pool. And she's like, what channel are you talking about? And I was like, it's channel like 83 or something. And they turned it to 83. And then it was like a Christian Catholic channel.
Uh-huh.
It was like this guy's preaching away. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, at 5 o'clock, the naked lady jumps out. And they're like, okay. And then we went to Connecticut, and we came back. And my mom told my sister, she's like, yeah, at 5 o'clock, that channel turns into the Playboy channel.
Stop.
And it stops the religious programming. And then there was this lady standing on top of the grotto, at the Playboy Mansion. And she was naked. And she would dive into the pool. And then she'd walk up out of the steps soaking wet. And she'd be like, welcome to the Playboy channel. with not a deep voice. But
Wow.
she would. Yeah. And I always remember, and I just caught that one night. And I
Yeah?
was like, dear God,
What time is it? I need to
what
write
is
in my
this
calendar.
grower doing here? Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. They put that on the same channel.
Yeah.
Do you think it's by design?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many of the cable companies having a good laugh.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so you'd have that, and so you'd have like Cinemax, HBO, whatever, switching through all that stuff.
Wow.
But it was just not nearly as many options or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What a different time.
I didn't have Nick at Night to wrap it all up for me.
Yeah, Nick and I was great. I got the best of your bullshit.
Yeah, it was. I just remember watching Brady Bunch all the time.
Yeah.
It was like constant.
Yeah.
And be mad when it was like, damn it, Bewitched. I didn't want Bewitched.
Bewitched was so good.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite part of Bewitched.
Okay.
They just switch out her husband partway through the whole show, and we all go, yep, that's the same guy. They even change his animation in the front to be a different guy.
Really?
And we all have to pretend that this is the same man who'd been acting in it the prior 2 seasons. That's funny to me.
I didn't even know they did that, actually.
Yeah, because it didn't matter, because it's all about her.
Yeah. That's good,
Yeah.
I guess. Didn't they do that on I Dream of Jeannie? Somebody changed on that, too.
Not that I
No?
know of.
I don't know. That was always... I guess I'm just having all the
That one
wishes
doesn't
of a
really
genie.
hold up for me.
No?
No, not as much.
Yeah, it seemed really like...
Felt a
This
little
guy's an
sad.
astronaut. What's he doing at home all the time?
That was your problem with it.
Yeah. I was like, my dad's an astronaut and he's not here. But your dad's, he's an astronaut. I get why he wouldn't be there.
Watching back, it just feels so kind of like her always being like, what can I do for you? What can I blah, blah, blah.
That's
It's
the
just
part I
amazing.
loved.
Yeah, that's the part you loved for sure, for sure. That and the present father.
Yeah, it'd always be like, and then but they're always like trapped in the bottle all the time too. Like that was always somebody's tricking him to get in the bottle.
Yeah. The bottle looked really cool inside, though.
Yeah.
I wanted the bottle life.
Yeah. But I was like, this guy's got to get to the moon. Let him out.
Get him out of the bottle, put him on the
He's
moon.
got some stuff to do.
Or send the bottle to the moon. Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we watched a ton of TV. I always watched Happy Days. That was a big one
I loved
too.
Happy Days.
I loved it.
Happy Days is where I was introduced to. Is it Mork?
Oh, yeah. That was a spinoff of Happy Days.
Yeah.
Rob Williams.
Yeah, I never saw him
Mork and
do
Mindy.
whatever. I never saw the Mork and Mindy. I only saw it on Happy Days.
Wait, you never watched Mork and Mindy?
No.
But you just saw the one episode on Happy Days of the spinoff. All right, we're going to have to do a viewing party of Mork and
Yeah,
Mindy.
we should.
That was some crazy shit.
Was it Mork and
I
Mindy?
mean, Rob Williams is obviously a genius and,
Yeah.
and crazy, but he had to have been coked out on some of those episodes. Like he was.
Probably, yeah.
I also do you know Jonathan Winters?
Old guy, wacky face?
Old guy, bigger guy, but very Robin Williams-esque.
I don't think I
Like
know him, actually.
Rob Williams like emulates him
I
quite a
think I'm
bit.
mixing up John Waters with whatever Winters.
Yes, John Waters, the skinny guy with the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah, not him. I
Mm-mm.
think it's Jonathan Winters. I'm gonna be mad at myself for not remembering. But he
Me too. I'll be mad too.
but he was like Rob Williams mentality, like so quick, so fast.
Uh-huh.
He'd be on Carson a lot.
Okay.
And if I got to just like stay up and watch, that was always who I'd want to watch, him and like when Rob Williams would come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mork and Mindy. But Happy Days was always cool with like Fonzie.
Loved Happy Days.
Yeah.
I loved Happy Days so much.
It's so funny how like I thought Fonzie was so fucking cool.
Yeah, because they told us he was, and we
Yeah.
all. He did the, and then the whatever started playing,
yeah.
or the, and then whatever came out of the vending machine.
But it's also
Was he not cool?
he was cool, but it was the 70s, right?
Yeah.
But he was a 50s character.
Oh, on a 70s show?
That's why I never quite grasped that as a kid because I was like, this guy isn't cool now. Like
Yeah.
nobody's walking around this like this now.
Yeah.
And then there was a weird point in the show where it's like I thought it was always supposed to take place in the 50s,
Yeah.
but then it was like later when they were like jumping the shark and literally doing the. Do you even know what that is?
Jumping the shark, do you mean as a phrase, or do you mean they were literally jumping a shark?
So that's where that phrase comes from. is
No,
Days.
Happy Days?
Yeah. Dear God. All right, now I'm the dad again.
Back to you, Dad.
We need like a tie to pass back and forth to each other.
Or a pack of smokes.
On Happy Days, so the show was great, going for many years, and then it got to one year. There was an episode that was kind of dying down, and there was an episode where some bully in town or something. I think they went to California for something.
Okay.
And somebody set up. He was either like challenged Fonzie or set him up or something to do. He was water skiing. Fonzie was really good at water skiing with his leather jacket on, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Speedo leather jacket.
Hell yeah.
And somebody challenged him to do a water ski jump over a shark. And so there was this big whole cliffhanger episode where he's flying towards the ramp, and then next week or whatever, and then the next week he jumps the shark. And they were saying that's when Happy Days went downhill.
Oh.
And so that's how Jump the Shark became a saying, is because they said,
wow.
Is he going to jump the shark?
That's crazy.
It's crazy that you don't know it in my head.
That I don't know that's where Jump the Shark came from?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is, I guess, crazy to you. I think if you polled anyone my age, if they knew the phrase Jump the Shark, they would never guess it's from Happy Days.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to know that because I really liked Happy Days.
Yeah, that's it.
Before they jumped the shark.
Before they jumped the shark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never, because I was watching it in my youth, it all was an old show to me.
Okay.
So I was never like, oh, Arthur Fonzarelli is in a noticeably different era from him. To me, they were all just in some weird old time that I don't understand. No offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the show did weirdly move in
time.
I think it was initially set in the 50s.
Yeah.
But I feel like it moved up in time.
But you don't think it like played on air for long enough for the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like in the Jump the Shark episode, I feel like that's in the 70s.
I feel like I remember a time where his sister was a little sister and then she was suddenly a woman.
Oh yeah, Erin Moran or whatever.
If
That
you
was
say
her
so.
name. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think she was like 12 when the show started. Then
Yeah.
she was like suddenly 18 dating Chachi.
Wow, so it was really airing that long?
I think it went on. We'll have to look it up. But I think it went on pretty long.
Joni and Chachi.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the did you watch like Three's Company and all that?
Of course.
Of course.
We're the same.
We're the same people. That was great. I love that.
I really like Three's Company, yeah.
That was a big part of mine growing up too.
Yeah.
Just because I always John Ritter was so damn funny.
He was
and
really
so,
funny. I was really sad when he died.
Yeah, yeah. That was. I remember being in Connecticut and I guess just randomly walking around downtown by myself.
Yeah.
It just seems strange for a 10-year-old, but we were. There was a little town community theater. I remember seeing he was performing there.
Wow.
I can't assume he don't think he did stand up, so he must have been doing a play or something.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing his poster and thinking like, he's here. That's crazy. He's gonna be here.
That's so cute.
I want to see it, but I never got to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The conceit of that show was that everyone thinks he's gay, but he's not gay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no. They have to pretend to be gay. He has to pretend to be gay
To live with these women?
to live with these women so that the landlord allows him to live there.
The landlord's homophobic? No, the opposite. She's super into.
The landlord is.
She loves gay people
She
so
loves
much.
gay
She wants
people.
everyone to be gay.
What was the guy, Mr. Roper?
Oh, Mr. Roper.
He wouldn't allow
He was
a
religious.
man. I guess
Okay.
he didn't want just two single women living with a single man.
Oh, because anything
because
could
then
happen.
Your type of parties are going to start.
Oh yeah, and people will go around and be like, "Cool bitch."
Cool, dude. Especially Larry downstairs. He's going to come up.
I don't remember Larry from downstairs.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
How do you not know Larry? The scuzzy dude?
We should be impressed with what I know from when I was 7.
Oh, you were 7. Okay. Yeah. You don't remember he'd go to the Regal Beagle all the time?
No,
Do you remember the Regal Beagle?
no. This was one of my top shows, but I watched a decent amount of it.
Yeah. I'm just going to remind you that when I said, have you watched Three's Company? You were like, oh, yeah, all the time. Right when we started this.
I didn't say all the time,
The reaction was that. That's what
but I
took it.
definitely watched it.
You just didn't retain anything from
I
it.
think I like didn't always get what was going on with it as much as with other shows. Cause
Yeah, there's probably a lot of innuendo stuff probably going around.
there was a lot of stuff that felt a little bit, more than my knowledge. Like even the like figuring out like he's not gay, but we make him think he's gay or something, that was like not computing in my brain all the way at that age.
Yeah, I'm not even sure, like, just like being gay, what that meant, I think was for a lot of kids. Obviously, they probably didn't even know that wasn't, I mean, that had to be one of the first shows to talk about that that openly, I think.
Yeah. But he and the blonde were together.
No.
What?
He wasn't with either.
Didn't he have some sexy times with the blonde?
I think he always wanted to, but I don't think he ever, I think he wanted to with both of them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever happened.
I think I was just on his side the whole time, so I was like, he's probably done sexy times with the blonde.
Well, he always do that thing where he'd like run around going like, like chasing them.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yeah. Oh, that you remember.
You know what show I loved? I loved Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that too.
It was good.
That was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many with it. Lenny and Squiggy.
Yeah, Lenny and Squiggy.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. And they looked kind of like Arthur Fonzarelli vibes. They had the jackets and the silly hair.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Was
But they
Laverne
weren't hot like Arthur Fonzarelli was.
I think Laverne and Shirley was a spinoff of Happy Days too.
Was it?
I think so.
Wow.
But again, like that was one that I think flipped times because if they started in Happy Days and then I think Laverne and Shirley felt like it was like a 70s show.
Was it?
Yeah, I felt like it.
Okay. Again, it was all old timey to me. Schlemiel Schlemazel to me.
It's all 25 years old to me. Yeah, I think that was a spinoff too.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember Laverne being on Happy Days with the L.
Oh.
I think they were both, and Shirley was dating Ron Howard, whatever his guy's name was.
Oh, how do we know it wasn't just a crossover episode? Do you think it was a birth from it, not a crossover?
I think a lot of shows are birthed from Happy Days.
That's crazy.
Well, now two that we know for sure. But
yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we'll have to look that up. But I think that was, I think that was the thing.
Okay, we can look those up for next time and let people know.
Yeah, we need to have our wrap up.
Oh yeah, we need to do a wrap
correction
up.
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch Happy Days, The Vern Shirley, Three's Company. What are the other ones? But so what about like what was your first mainstream TV that you watched then?
What do you mean?
Like you had to be home. Well, you didn't have DVRs as a kid, right?
No.
So what was the show you were like, Mom, we got to be home for this?
I actually don't remember having one like that. I remember before my parents split, sometimes we'd all watch Wonder Years together.
Okay.
I loved Wonder Years.
So what's that, like late 80s?
I mean, I was born in 89.
So very late 80s. Born in 89?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Thank you. It's so nice to hear that because everyone else now is born in like the 2000s and I go, holy shit.
God, I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like in my teens, I remember Tuesday nights, my mom and my brother and I would watch House. That was a big and important show for me.
Wow. How old are you then?
Like high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But as like a elementary kid, were you rushing home to watch?
I don't remember having a thing I'd rush home to watch at all.
Just let me stay up till 2 watching Nick and Night.
Yeah, I'd watch all those shows to myself at night. Yeah.
Did you have a TV in your room?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd watched it so late. I stayed up so late watching it.
When did you get a TV in your room?
I remember having a TV in my room at least before we moved up to Northern California. So I would have been before 9 or 10 years old.
Mm.
Yeah. So I'd have been pretty young. 6 or 7 down in LA.
I remember getting a color TV in my room.
Oh.
I had a black and white, and then I got a color.
That's cool.
Is it?
Yeah, probably. Black
cool
and white
time.
TV is wild.
That was it. We had a black and white TV in our main living room.
Until when?
God, probably 6 or 8.
I'm actually so glad we're recording this because you're an artifact. You know, people will be able to go back and listen to the records and go, "Wow, black and white television."
I'm a cool artifact. Very cool. Very mysterious.
Really, both of us are teaching the kids something. You know.
You need to remember what it was used to be like, Natasha. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how you know your past.
Yeah. We're the same. I watched all your shows. Okay, we all.
Yeah. So you didn't watch Knight Rider?
No.
I can't. So there's no show. Like Friends wasn't a thing you rushed home for?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Never watched. I mean, you probably watched it now.
My mom
in Netflix
watched it
time.
once in a while, and I'd watch it with her.
Okay.
That's actually very funny you say. I generally haven't watched it, but then my ex got me into it, and then after the breakup, I was watching it like every night to fall asleep.
Oh yeah.
A lot of Friends.
My girls love it.
Yeah?
I mean, they've probably each watched it 3 to 5 times, full seasons all the way through.
Who are there? I haven't finished it. I'm in the last season, but I stopped. I've decided no TV.
Oh.
Unless I'm watching with other people. It's the rule I had during lockdown. I can't watch long form media alone.
Sorry, you're always like, come in here.
Get in here. Thank God. You don't have to watch this. Just be nearby.
Just sit with me. Yeah. Yeah, they watched it. They loved it.
Who are their favorite characters? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't talk to them.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You're just like my dad.
No, I don't know if they have a favorite.
That's fair.
I
Phoebe
mean, it's
all the
probably
way for
everybody.
me.
It's
I'm a
Phoebe,
Phoebe.
Chandler, and
Gotta be
Rachel, right?
Phoebe.
Everyone else seems real annoying.
I always hated Ross. I've always been very anti-Ross my
Yeah.
whole life. And then rewatching it now, they really start using him well in the later seasons. They find out he's really good at physical comedy, and they start milking it, and he becomes very, very funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've watched it all the way through as much as like I probably should have.
This is my first time going all the way through.
I always remember there was my friend and I were help moving his girlfriend at the time, or maybe they might have been married. No,
Pivot?
girlfriend. Yeah, but I didn't know it.
Oh.
So it was just me and my friend helping her move, and we have the couch, and we're trying to go up these stairs, and there was another guy there who was helping her roommate move,
Yeah.
and he's doing the use my back as a pivot, pivot, but neither my friend or I had ever seen it, and we're like, what the fuck is this guy
What's he
talking about? So we were like literally living it through.
That's
It was to the
so
point where I've
funny.
told that story later in life, not knowing that was a thing. And they're like, oh, it's just like Friends. I was like, what are you talking about? I had no clue that. I was like, this guy's just fucking crazy trying to use his back as a pivot.
So funny.
Yeah.
He's ahead of his time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch a ton of Friends. We'd always, but it was big. Like family time was always. We would rush home to watch Laverne and Shirley. We would rush home to watch Three's and Company.
That's so cute.
That was like a little safe haven.
Yeah.
It was TV for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think ours was House.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom would always say, because I'm still like not necessarily well health-wise, you know, but back then everything was worse in a lot of different ways. And mom was always like, oh, I wish we had a house and he would fix you.
Oh.
She'd say that all the time.
You were just like hoping each episode was about what you have.
No, I was hoping he'd come out of the TV, kiss me, and then cure me. I had such a crush on him until I found out he was British. That was devastating.
Why?
Ugh, he's awful British. I hate Hugh Laurie British.
You hate British or you hate Hugh Laurie British?
I hate Hugh Laurie British.
Okay.
Don't always love a lot of other people British, but I do not like him British. He's so much hotter with an American accent.
Okay. You know I'm British, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Just
wow,
making
it's so much nicer that you have this American accent.
Oh, you just hate the accent.
Him with that accent, I do not like. No.
Yeah.
It's not hot. He's hot with the American accent.
Did you know that show was like Sherlock Holmes?
Of course I did.
I did not know that.
I've
for a
watched
long
it
time.
so many times. I love it. Yeah, he had his Wilson for his Watson, the same address. He was a drug addict, just like Sherlock Holmes was.
I had no clue. I didn't know that till probably 5 years ago.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the ending?
No.
Oh, man.
I watched many seasons of that show, but I probably never watched all the way through.
Can I tell you the ending? It's really...
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so at the
Spoiler
end... I know,
alert.
sorry, everyone. So Wilson, who is our oncologist,
Okay.
shocker, gets cancer.
Okay.
He gets a cancer, and at this time, House is spiraling out and getting worse in all of his own ways, to the point where he is going to be sent to prison. And it seems to be that when Wilson is not willing to do the drugs, he's going to let himself die of cancer. And so to House, he's like, I'm going to be in prison while my best friend is dying, and I won't get to be with him his last whatever years. House fakes his own death with like a body and a fire in a building so that he and Wilson can have Wilson's final years together, and they ride off in motorcycles into the sunset. Isn't that beautiful but crazy?
Yes, crazy is probably where I would have landed. Probably a little more emotional watching it, but
It was just so
it seems like a real
that they loved
patchwork
each other
ending
so
to me.
much. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I loved it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good show though.
Extraordinary. The pilot's great too. I watched it
yeah.
recently for a pilot class.
Oh, that's what I was gonna. Have you watched Cheers?
I've watched some of it. Not a lot.
Have you ever watched the pilot?
No, is it really good?
It's supposedly the best pilot ever.
Whoa. Did the people watching it, have they watched the house pilot though? Because it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, because I've been listening to the podcast where everyone knows your name.
You listen to other podcasts?
Yeah. Yes, just for ideas.
Okay.
Because I don't know what to talk to you about.
Yeah.
But the, it's with Ted Danson. Do you know who Ted Danson is?
Yeah. Good Place.
Yeah, that's what he's famous for. Yes, his many years at Good Place. And then Woody Harrelson. Do you know who Woody Harrelson is?
Hunger Games. Was he in Hunger Games?
Yep, he totally was. That's how he became
And True
famous.
Detective.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A little bit better of his acting abilities, but yes. So he was in Cheers too, and so was Ted Danson.
Okay.
And they do a podcast where they talk about the old times and all that stuff. But yeah, not only do they say it's a great pilot, but everyone that comes on is like, "That's the best pilot we've ever seen."
Wow.
So now I'm trying to go back and watch Cheers again because I
Maybe I'll
love
check out the
that.
pilot.
It was great. That
Yeah.
show was funny, top to bottom all the time. All right, we'll have to do a watch party. We'll do a Cheers wrap up
Okay.
segment every time.
Cool.
Let me know when you start.
I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah, Cheers was always a big one. I'm trying to think what else was big for me. Because we didn't have DVR, you couldn't go home and.
I
watch it and
never
record it.
DVR'd anything. I just want you to know. You keep saying DVR. This wasn't a part of my life.
No,
No.
never.
Never DVR'd anything. Is that like TiVo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we never TiVo'd anything. Or
TiVo
DVR'd
came
anything.
first,
Yeah.
and then everything was TiVo, and then they had to subsidize or get it out to the Comcast and stuff.
We
cable
never did that in
companies.
my family.
No,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
We did it so much that when we say, so TiVo had a specific sound. It was a did when you press
Sorry,
the
can you do it again?
did it.
That's all?
That when you press fast forward,
Okay.
it was a little higher pitch.
Uh-huh.
And so we did it so much that we as a family, when we say, "Can you skip ahead?" we go, "Can you did it?"
That's so cute.
That's how much we did it.
Aw.
But yeah, that's great. Well, I guess we had kids right when it came out. That was when we had kids, like babies. So if we wanted to pretend we had a normal life again,
Yeah.
we would TiVo everything or DVR everything, and then we could pretend that we were still active humans.
At that point, what were you guys DVRing? Like, what was on TV?
Lost.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
We've watched the same shows.
Yeah. Lost. What else did we watch? Yeah, Lost was probably the biggest one at the time.
Lost was so good.
Yeah,
So good.
it was good. Have you rewatched it?
Have I?
Rewatched it.
I don't think I've, not as, I think maybe it's been 10 years at least.
So I'm wondering if it's better because I watched it week to week,
Yeah.
where you're like dying.
Oh, I'd watch it all.
waiting.
If you can watch it back to back, it's really fun. I've done that.
Right. So I think
Yeah.
because I started doing that with Game of Thrones, and I was like, oh, this is so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Just because I know everybody, I know their names now.
and it's fun to watch like
It's
that.
fun to watch a little bit.
A lot of people were really upset about the ending of Lost.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way?
I kind of knew that was coming.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, you can't expect them to wrap all this up. They're just making fun mysteries the whole time. And
Yeah.
that's not what the show was about. It was a journey. We got to know each other.
Yeah. We're better for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the same way with like Game of Thrones. Did
Yeah.
you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yeah. Same with that. Like, everyone was like, oh, the ending was shitty. I was like, how do you want them to wrap it up?
It's true.
It's going to end one of 5 ways, and they
Yeah.
pick one.
It did feel like they got there fast.
It did get there. Yeah. They were definitely,
Yeah.
I think all the actors were sick of doing it. They're like,
Mm-hmm.
but, and also the guy writing it totally copped out. But, yeah, I think it was definitely, I mean, it has to end somewhere. That's why I told my daughter who just finished watching it.
Yeah.
And she's like, everyone says the ending sucks. I was like, just let it happen.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, don't overthink it. It's just an ending,
Mm-hmm.
and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's dad moves.
Battlestar Galactica.
The original or the
No.
remake? The original scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh God, the Cylons with the
They're scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would freak me out. That always freaked me out. That's why I wouldn't watch it. And then the dog, the hairy dog.
I don't know, the hairy dog.
Isn't Starbuck or somebody have a dog?
Oh, not in the newer.
Not in the new one. Right?
No. How did they end that version though? Do you know?
I think they just stopped making it.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think they had the time to wrap it up in those days.
The ending of this one was kind of wacky.
Yeah, I did watch it.
Yeah.
I watched both. Yeah.
I was kind of pissed off about some of it.
This is the one we're talking about, like Starbucks, a female, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And an angel or something where we don't know what happened to her. Maybe she's an angel, maybe not.
Maybe spoiler alert that. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, sorry guys.
If you haven't watched it by now, fuck off. But
Here's what really pisses me off about the ending of that show, okay?
All right.
Finally, everyone gets to whatever our planet is, right? We're all going to live our lives.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Daddy Adama or whatever, instead of getting to be with his son,
Is his name Daddy or you're just calling him Daddy?
he's the father.
Okay.
He's the father of the Adamas. I don't know if the Adama's their last name or first name.
I thought you were just projecting.
No, I'm like, Zaddy Adama. No, he chooses for some reason to live far away from his son when he could just be with him for the end of time. I don't know. It made me really after all this, you've been in a spaceship, you've been through hell, you're going to go live far away from your son for the end of time. I was pissed.
Haven't they just been on a ship for years together?
There have been fights. There have been almost deaths. There have been so much. Like, you can just have a nice life now together, finally. And you're not going to enjoy it together?
You don't think they want space at that point?
No, they had space for 30 years. They were in fucking space.
They're on a fucking same ship together.
But they had some separation. And I was pissed. I was pissed.
You didn't like it?
I loved the whole show.
Just that part was...
That part bummed me out. Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
Feels like you may have some issues there.
What? What? I also took the same issue.
I really hated the part where the dad left him.
Did you ever watch during lockdown My Octopus Teacher?
No, I didn't. Only I know what happens in it, but I haven't watched it.
Here's what pissed me off about that. Okay?
The dad left.
Well, I think there was no mention of mom in the picture, but it was a father and a son, and the father was always out in the ocean trying to fuck this octopus every single episode. And then at the end, he's like, wow, it's so crazy that my son also loves the ocean and wants to do this. I'm like, yeah, he just wants to be with you. He wants to spend time. I got upset about that, too.
Yeah, that one seems... That
and
seems
not
crazy.
because I have any issues.
Yeah. That is... I mean, I wonder if he even realized that.
No.
No.
Of course not.
Was he the director of it?
I don't know. I don't know who
He was
directed
just
it.
in it.
He was just like, follow me,
Yeah.
woo in this octopus.
Do you think people recognize that in themselves a lot?
No.
No.
No, I don't.
No.
How could you?
I said people, but... You're like, no, I don't at all. Not me.
Do you think people recognize that in themselves? Wait, what do you mean? Do you mean recognize that they're being like weird parents, or recognize that they're upset because of their own parent stuff?
But just because of their trauma, do you think that people can recognize things happen in their life? Because like I feel like I can see it a lot of times in other people when I'm like, oh, you just had like a shitty dad, or you had a shitty mom, or or you know, oh, you don't have friends. Like you can see stuff in people. Do you see that? Do you think people recognize that enough, or not enough? But I guess there's some people. It's very wishy-washy and probably having a stroke. But I think it's. I don't know if people can recognize it. Like I feel like I can recognize it, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't see it in myself. You know, I'm like, oh, if I stop for a second, I'd be like, oh, that's probably because of whatever.
I think I in myself am like all too aware of it. I feel like I know that I'm just like an exposed wire that's just reacting to everything, you know?
Yeah.
I think I could see it in other people decently too.
Yeah.
I feel
like it's easier.
Yeah.
To see that in other people, because then you're not judging yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's easier to give advice to other people too.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's easier because, you know, you're not the one who has to take it. So you're like, here's what I would theoretically do.
Yeah. I would just go up and stand up and talk to him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No,
but if you gave that advice to me, I'd be like, oh, that's so easy for me to say.
Yeah. That's the dumbest advice I've ever heard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 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 I think it's tough. I always, well, not always think about it, but just try and take that step back to look at it sometimes of why am I making this decision or why am I like that? And that gets pretty hard.
Yeah, don't do that.
I mean, it's not like in a downer way, but like, even just like personality wise, like I know I'm pretty mellow. I don't kind of go too high, too low.
Yeah.
And then I'm always trying to like, why is that? What am I blocking?
Yeah.
Am I trying to not disappoint or am I trying not to be disappointed? I'm trying to like, what am I trying to balance it out for? That's where it always gets kind of weird.
I kind of have sort of those discussions with my therapist about like what's fucked up about me where I need to be doing comedy, where I get joy out of this on stage. Like, what the hell is that? And she's always like, I don't think we need to pathologize this thing that you like. And I'm like, okay. But
yeah, I try not to do that. Like, people always ask like, why are you, they're always like, are you a sad comic or like, why are you doing it? I don't feel like I'm trying to fill some hole necessarily. I just really enjoy it.
It's really fun.
But I'm not trying to, I don't think I'm after anything other than just laughs.
Yeah.
And just, I look at it like playing golf.
Huh.
When I'm on stage, I don't think about anything else for 10, 40 minutes, an hour, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I guess that feels like a relief sometimes. Where you're like, I just don't have to think about anything else.
It is really nice like that.
And that's the first time playing golf was one of the first times I did that, where I was like, oh wow, I didn't think of anything for like the last hour. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then comedy has kind of filled that hole as well, where it just gives me joy, but I also don't have any other thing going on in my head as I'm doing it, which is nice.
I like that. I think that's how I used to feel. My grandpa taught me how to windsurf when I was young, and windsurfing, it felt very similar too. Where it's just like you and this thing, and you're not thinking
you're
about
concentrating
the rest.
on everything else, or nothing else but that at that moment.
It's like really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels like a break.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like my wife does the same thing too, like reading. She loves reading like garbage novels, like Harlequin romance level, but lower. And she's just like, it's just mind numbing. Yeah. She'll read the same book that she's read before.
Huh.
She'll read it. She's like, I just don't want to think.
Yeah.
And just goes through it.
Isn't it so weird?
Yeah.
Our brains?
Yeah. Strange. And we're done.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so.
Where's Dad? You're Dad. I'm Dad. We're all Dad here.
We're all dads.
All of us are Dad.
The dad went back and forth today, for sure.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. It was good. That worked out.